Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello everybody. How y'all doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well this week. So I was gonna do a whole different show, but when I listened to Rickey Smiley, when I listened to Steve Harvey, when I listened, and then I listened to Dr. Umar, and I had to agree with his assessment of things. I knew I had to talk about it. I knew that I had to talk about this. Because this whole, it's like every election, this whole, particularly the presidential elections, this whole identity politics is Kamala black. Is she not black? This whole thing, this getting on my nerve. This is getting on my nerves. And when I look, especially Rickey Smiley. The level of buffoonery and butter biscuit babble that was involved with everything that he was saying, it just made my skin itch. And we're going to really get into why it really got under my skin. Because if you want to vote for the Democrats, vote for them. If you want to vote for the Republicans, vote for them. But what I'm over is the game and the puppetry and the chasing after these butter biscuits. I'm over that. And so many of us are over that. And I don't think that a lot of times the powers that be are realizing that so many of us are, we done with that. We done with that. We done with that foolishness. You don't get this. We gonna listen to everything that he said. Because y'all need to hear this before you hear Umar talk about it, because you're not gonna get the real true essence without really listening to it come from the butter biscuit filled mouth of Rickey Smiley. And I usually, I try not to talk about people like that. But it actually ticked me off because it's offensive. Thank you so much, Miss Almond Eyes. I've been waiting on this all day. Thank you, sweetheart. So what we're gonna do is I want y'all to listen to this foolishness.
It's the front page on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
All right, 24 minutes after the hour, y'all got your front page right here. Maria, good morning.
Here's what's happening in news. Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota held their first joint campaign rally together in Philadelphia. Kamala Harris praised Walz, going down his list of titles from coach to congressman and even military veteran. She ended his introduction, Rickey, saying, and in 91 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by another name, Vice President of the United States. Are you excited about Tim Walz? I already know the answer to that question.
Always.
What excites you the most about him?
Just that he's just a regular, like he reminds you of your high school principal. He reminds you of your.
Now, before we continue on, she said, why are you excited about Tim Walz? You don't know nothing about this man. Talking about, oh yeah, I'm excited for him. Why? And when she asked why, let the tap dancing begin. He was trying to find something to say about this man that didn't sound stupid. I just need everybody that listened to me to listen to this with the ears of a person that's in the 10 life value system, that understands the play. I need everybody that is listening to me to listen to what Rickey is saying from the perspective of a person that knows the difference between the 10 life values and the lost value system, who knows the difference between the matrix and not being in the matrix, and just looking at it now from the perspective of a person that this kind of stuff don't apply to.
Your high school football coach, and he was a football coach that led his team to a national, not national, but to a state championship. And he is just awesome. He's for the people. He stand up for women's rights, and he's a popular governor in the great state of Minnesota, which Trump won in 2016. That state was picked off by Joe Biden, and I think we'll definitely get his state and the state of Pennsylvania as well. Either one of those governors would have been a great choice for Kamala Harris. I'm just sick of the black people on the internet talking about I'm not with her. Okay, so if you're not with her, that means you with Trump. And y'all need to block every last one of their asses on Facebook and on Instagram and social media and stop. Like that's just garbage.
Yeah,
it's just garbage.
Can
Everybody
we be
got to
united
find,
on anything?
Yeah. Can't agree on a damn bucket of chicken. One person want a hot dog.
Or we can't agree on the same bucket of butter biscuits. I'm going to tell you what I don't like. That the concept, and in the second half of this, I'm going to tell you why identity politics work on black people, or why we get so up in arms, or why it has been weaponized the way that it has. In the second half of this, we're going to really dig into that, because there's a reason why they weaponize the concept of blackness and being together, and we got to unify, and we got to, agree on all of this type of stuff. Because they will use these buzzwords. Why come we can't unify on nothing? But why would we have to unify on BS? Why do we have the other thing I didn't like, and I know I'm kind of skipping around a little bit. The other thing I didn't like, well, if you're not with her, you with Trump. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying and. Because people are free to do what they want to do. Because I guarantee you it's going to be some black people at the ballot voting for Trump. It's going to be. Whether anybody else like it or not. It's going to be some black people voting for Trump. It just is what it is. And all this getting on here with the shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right. I need y'all to hear this. Hear a hyena talk when a hyena talking. Don't get so blinded by gender. This is a hyena talking. The sign language. It's the sign language for me. Well, if you're not with her, that means you with him. What that's designed to do is trigger in black people, oh, you don't want to be aligned with Trump because Trump is a racist. So you as a black person could not want to be aligned with a person that is racist. So under any circumstance. So if you don't want to be associated and aligned with a person that is racist, then your only other option is to be in support of the other candidate who's not racist and who is black, and therefore are automatically going to be doing things that serve the greater best interest of black people in this country. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all with that. I'm tired of y'all with that. Leave people alone. He gonna say some of the most ignorant, and the clip ain't but 10 minutes. Let's go back to it.
Black folks get on my damn nerves, man. Why everybody making all these celebrities making all these videos going off on Kamala Harris and stuff, and then the black men, Kamala Harris didn't prosecute you and treated you bad in court. I got treated bad in court too, but I'm with her because a vote for her. If you sit at home and you don't support her, you are definitely supporting Donald Trump. You can vote for who you want to, but don't be trying to encourage other people and sit up there and put bad stuff. Where's that same energy for Donald Trump?
He always get the energy. Y'all sitting up here trying to literally shame black people into voting for her. It's the exact same sentiment that Joe Biden showed up on the Breakfast Club talking about, you're not black if you don't vote for me. And it's like black people not offended by this. You're not offended by the blatant butter biscuit babble. The blatant playing in your face. How many times?
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just like, don't vote for him. It is what it is.
Y'all not even out here doing real research. And look at her record. If you do the research or whatever, stop believing everything you read and do real research, you can see what a record is. You can see what she have done. I think you can Google what have Kamala Harris done for the black community or things that black people benefit from a lot. We need to stand with her. Yes. We need to stand with her. She's great. She will make a great president. And what a blessing to be living in a time where a black woman can become president of the United States of America. In our time, we get a black man and a black woman become president. That's unheard of.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
Messy. Be on the right side of history. Be on the right side of history.
It's just the Amber Rose and everybody got all these videos and stuff and talking about Kamala Harris talking out of both sides of her. How would you say something so disrespectful that's trying to stand up and that's going to possibly pick 2 United States Supreme Court justices or whatever to try to keep?
And Kay pointed this out to me. If Kamala Harris is elected, she would be sworn in.
She could be sworn
on
in
MLK Day
by the first black Supreme Court,
and possibly by Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah.
Does that not give you chills?
Come on,
stop it.
Does that not send
Maria?
Just make your whole body vibrate.
Maria, I can go deep into that. You got a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated reading in a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated into the damn White House. What's wrong with y'all?
Come on, man.
MLK holiday.
But y'all mad because she ain't talking about reparations.
Who was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated?
Come on now.
Come on now.
And I think it was at that point that I became very extremely irritated with that whole rant. It was at that moment that I became so irritated. Don't that just do something to you? No. As a matter of fact, it does not. It does nothing for me. Her being an AKA and the other one being a Delta and the other one, they both married to white men. They both married to Mr. Cardenstein. Let's just understand that. Why are you bringing that up? Because these are not black women. These are not black women. Ketanji, in my book, is a divester. That one is a divester. And if you want to slap the black label on Kamala, she a divested in too. I don't care nothing about them organizations. I don't care nothing about that symbolism. That symbolism means nothing to me. That symbolism means nothing. Absolute zero. It's nothing. It's less than nothing. And the fact that they would bring that up as a thing to get black people's emotional connection to something that doesn't benefit them any sort of way. It don't benefit you now. It don't benefit you in the future. It don't. The only time the only time them sororities anything benefit you is if you are a part of it and you really put yourself into the thick of it and you really into it. That's the only time that has helped. Those of us who never pledged and who didn't care about pledging, we are not helped by AKAs. I ain't never been helped by a Delta. I ain't never been helped by any of these Greek fraternities and sororities. That has nothing to do with what Black people need. That has nothing to do with what this country needs, whether you Black or not. See, I'm not even of the opinion that either of the candidates has to do something specifically for Black people. I just need the policies to benefit America, and I'll find my benefit. I'll find my lane in it. Because the normal citizens of this country we are not bothered by that. We bothered by gas prices too high, grocery prices too high, the immigrant cost is too high. We are being displaced by illegals. We're being, okay, that's what everything is too high and the inflation is out of control. Our dollar is not going nearly stretched the way that it needs to be stretched. And there are those of us who have steady, stable income that is now seeing more of a struggle, and we're not overspending. We're not spending on luxuries. We're not spending unnecessarily. When you can get immigrants getting $13,000 worth of food stamps, this is the problem that we need to talk about. That's what we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about getting the average American person's life to a point where they can kind of see their way out of stuff. You putting everybody in a bind. Everybody in a financial bind. Unless you got money. But if you were looking for a paycheck, if you had a paycheck, whether that's a W-2, whether you're self-employed, whether you're a business owner or whatever the case may be, then at some point there's a struggle here that didn't exist 5 years ago, that didn't exist 8 years ago. And I'm tired of the sign language. How many times y'all gonna let the Democrats scare you about the racist Republicans? How many times y'all gonna let them do? How long you gonna vote one way, but you still ain't got no tangibles? If Black people were looking for tangibles, when was the last time you got them? Because I would rather a candidate just look to those general American problems. I would rather the candidate look to those general American issues, because Black people not going to benefit if you bring the price of that stuff down. If you start capping inflation and bring Black people not going to benefit, we're not going to benefit from that. tell you one policy that Kamala Harris had in mind to not only just address anything with Black people, but the economy in general. That needs to be addressed. Inflation has to be addressed. Employment, that has to be addressed. Those are key issues in my mind. Illegal immigrants come into this country displacing, because see, they put the shelters and where they're sending the illegal immigrants, they're sending them to Black neighborhoods. That's where they're sending them. That's where they're sending them. They ain't sending them to white neighborhoods. They not sending them to Jewish neighborhoods. They not sending them to any other affluent neighborhood. They are sending them to the lower income neighborhoods. And a lot of that is Black. So we getting displaced out of a place to stay. We're getting displaced out of jobs we need. And it's like, don't nobody want to think about that. All them displaced people, they put them in Black neighborhoods. That's why the Black people in Chicago are protesting and constantly going down to City Hall, complaining to the mayor, that's why they complaining to the governor and stuff like that. Hey, because we struggling to live here. And you just giving them places today. We running around here trying to figure out how we gonna work, and we working 2-3 jobs, and you know what I'm saying, and all that type of stuff, taxing us out the wazoo. Kamala Harris came up with a policy talking about she gonna give $6,000 in a tax credit to newborns, to families with newborns. And I just shook my head. Do we have any idea why that's a bad idea? To give $6,000 tax credits to families that have newborns. So we back to incentivizing bad womb decisions, which is what the Democratic Party is known for, incentivizing bad womb decisions. You know how many people gonna have the baby to get the tax credit? Just like they was having them to get the welfare, having them to get the Section 8, and having them to get the, you understand? That's not a good idea. That's not a good thing. What about the families that's kids already here and they not newborns? They don't get a tax credit? What about those who don't have children but they work hard? We get taxed the most. I don't even want to discuss what I pay in taxes. Y'all would faint. Y'all would faint if I told you what I be owing in taxes. So people who are working. They might be working 1, 2 jobs or something like that. Getting taxed out crazy because you don't have no dependents. Why would you want to give a $6,000 tax credit for newborns? Like, that don't make no sense. Just from a policy standpoint, that didn't make any sense. You know that lower tier people, the first thought they had was, oh, I'm gonna have me a baby so I can get the $6,000 refund. That's we're gonna go into the second half of this because that's enough, Rickey. We're gonna, after these messages, we'll be right back. Because I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. We are in the dog days of summer, the last stretch, where we're showing off all of that beautiful skin. And there's no better way to show it off than to grab you a body butter from ashkicking.com. If you are going to be ordering for your first time, please take advantage of the 10% discount using a promo code Crimson. Everyone, please hit the link. That link again is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Don't know how many likes I need, but I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta go ahead, hit the like button. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you so much. Mogul May said they following everything from the Obama playbook, identity politics. We ignore the policies that these politicians represent. Exactly. Thank you so much, Wicked to Wise. Can us modest ladies have video on how you wrap your hair? Love that style. Each time I watch your videos, yeah, I'll give y'all a little quick tutorial. One of these days, when I go live, I'll have my hair already covered, and then I'll show y'all how I do the wrap. It's actually really, really simple. It looked complicated. I promise you it's not. Thank you, Miss Kelly said vote should be earned, not given. Tired of hearing vote for me because the other person is worse. Exactly. I want somebody to tell me why vote for Kamala without mentioning Trump. Don't mention his name. Just tell me why I should vote for her, not why I shouldn't vote for Trump. You see what I'm saying? Like, leave everybody else out of it just on your merit. It's frustrating. Thank you, Terenzo says we can't agree. Knowing there's obvious disagreements. In a world where agree and disagree are two words of one coin, stop the ride and let me off. Thank you, Fear to None, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, No Contendo says a black person, J.A. descent, who grew up in the U.S., now Canada, I'm guessing. I'm urging my black people to please educate yourselves on the dangers Trump's associates and policies will hurt not only you, but the entire black diaspora. Educate. The Democrats been doing the same thing. The rainbow agenda ain't hurt. The war against men didn't hurt. The feminist agenda don't hurt. She went all the way over to the continent to try to spread so-called democracy, but she was talking about the rainbow agenda. One of the most insidious and successful destabilizers of a nation that I've seen in recent recorded history. That's better than a military coup. But thank you for your support. Thank you, Steve. Said, what's good, sister, and everybody. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Ruminant. Says, a member of Phi Beta Sigma, I'm deeply offended by people trying to use that as a reason to vote one way or the other. Before I'm a member of a fraternity, I'm a member of need to buy groceries, pay rent, and car notes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Quinn. Said if Kamala wins, she will officially be recognized as the first Asian female president, not the first Black female president. All her Black supporters will feel betrayed. You know what? Part of me almost wanted to happen so they can be looking stupid. I don't even want to hear no complaints. Thank you, Alex. Says not enough to be the candidate used to voting against the other. She needs to be a candidate worth voting for, and she's not. You cannot run on superficialities and expect to be effective. Thank you, Bernard. Said families in Black communities consist of a Black woman and her kids. And once again, thank you, Bernard. Said newborn tax credits while concurrently promoting their obsession with baby deletion make that make sense because they make money either way, whether you have it or not. They don't care. It's a reason why they play identity politics with us. First, we're going to hear just a tad bit from from Umar.
Steve Harvey, Rickey, Smiley, and Steve Harvey. Rickey, Smiley, and Steve Harvey, listen. If Uncle Steve Harvey and Uncle Rickey Smiley want to go hard for Kamala Harris, that is their business. If Rickey Smiley and Steve Harvey want to go hard for Kamala Harris, they have a right to do that. They have a right to do that. What they don't have a right to do is shame other Africans into voting for her. They cannot do that. They were wrong for that. You can't shame people into not voting for someone who has no record of doing nothing for them.
Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for Black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it just for Black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for 100 dunk. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they're not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote.
Now that's where they're wrong. That's where they're wrong. You know, Steve Harvey's logic didn't make any sense. He said, if we don't vote, we won't get nothing. Well, you've been voting and you ain't got nothing. It's time to hold the vote until we get something. It's time to hold the vote until we get something. Rickey Smiley, I love my brother, but he was pretty emotional. He's talking about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji swearing in Vice President Harris. They both belong to Black Greek fraternities. They'll get sworn in on Dr. King's Earth Day. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. You have to give us tangibles, not symbols, Brother Rickey Smiley. Tangibles, not symbols. One is an AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with miseducation? One is an AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with mass incarceration? One is an AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with gentrification and homelessness? That is nothing but empty symbolism.
And I have to agree. I have to agree. It's empty. It doesn't mean anything. They're saying it and it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. It has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. Absolutely nothing. And we were supposed to glom on to that. We were supposed to support that and uphold that. I'm going to tell you why they practice identity politics with us that they don't do with other people. You wonder why, but especially the Democrats, play identity politics with American Blacks in a way that they don't do it with any other demographic of people in this country. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know the actual reason. The reason why they play identity politics with us, and they continue to play that card because it has worked with us more with any other people, don't work with nobody else, is because we're the only people who struggle with identity. Collectively, we struggle with that. We struggle with history. We struggle with identity. We don't know who we are. So they play on, you gotta be Black. They play on us and our concept of being Black, what it means to be Black, what it means to belong, what it means to be on code, what it means to be in the culture, what it means to be together as a Black people. We don't understand what that means. Other people have that. So they can't come play in their face with identity politics. You can't do that with a Jew. You can't do that with any other African, from Ghana to Nigeria to you can't do that. You can't do that with the West Indians. You can't do it. You can't do it with the Asians. You can't do it with the Mexicans. You can't do that with them. They already got their culture and their history and their people is set. They're not confused. They're not historically confused about who they are. So you can't say, oh, you ain't Mexican if you don't play. That don't work with nobody. That don't work with nobody but us. You ain't Black if you don't vote for me. Well, we got to stand behind Kamala because she Black. which plays on our sense of not belonging, which plays on our sense of we need to be together or we need to support one another or people that look like us for any reason, for everything, no matter what, because we see other people supporting their own, but we don't understand why they support their own or what the support consists of. See, we just like to see black faces in different places, but what we don't do is we don't even ensure that those supposed black faces benefit us at all. We just like the aesthetic of it's a black mayor over here and a black mayor over there and a black judge over there and a black. That's what we like, but we don't even know how the support for a politician is supposed to go. See, a politician doing for you doesn't have anything to do with identity. A politician doing something for you has everything to do with how much money you've given them in their campaign. See, you raise up a politician that's for you. You grab their ear on what your concerns are as a demographic. And then what you do is you put the collective community money behind them in the majority with the understanding that if they win that seat, now they're beholden to you as the demographic and the community to give them the tangibles that you said you could do. How do you think special interest groups get rights? How do you think the Rainbow Group got rights? Because they was the majority? No. Actually, they're a minority, a small percentage. But what they do is they put money behind the lobbyists and the politicians and this and that. They put money in it. We need our rights to do this and do that and da-da-da-da. We paying you to do that. We pay you to do that. And you better do it. Or we know who won't be serving another term. We know who won't be the next mayor. We know who won't be the next governor. We know who won't be the next senator. We know who won't be in the House of Representatives again. We know who won't be. Get in there and act like we didn't pay you. We think that if we say it loud enough, y'all got to give us something. That's not how that works. That's why she said to your face, I'm not doing nothing for black people. She said that to your face. Her stance didn't change. Her stance changed. I didn't hear her stance change. See, how other groups get what they want is they make sure to back people whose values align with theirs, not who color align. The color alignment is a byproduct of it. But they put people in that align with the values and the vision. You got to think like how I think. What's important to me got to be important to you, or else I'm not support you. But black people's most important thing is not our values, it's our color. We too interested in the people that even somewhat look like us. Ketanji Brown Jackson is a divester. Why was black people happy that she got into the Supreme Court? The same way y'all snatched Clarence Thomas's card for being with a white woman and being a coon and all this other kind of stuff. She on the same wavelength. I never seen nowhere where Ketanji Brown said, you know what I'm saying, you know what? This makes a big difference for Black people. Nothing has changed for us in this country in terms of the law of the land or policies or laws and things like that being enacted for our benefit. We got plenty of Black people in different places. What do that mean? We got so many Black women, so-called, in these positions of being judges and lawyers, but has the court system treated Black men any better than the white man doing it? Have those Black female judges, lawyers, police officers, and all throughout the penal system and all that kind of, have they been any better to the Black population? Has it been any fairer than a white man? No. You thought getting Black faces in there that it would be better for Black people? We would have some sense of, you know what I'm saying, togetherness. You know, I'm not gonna throw the book at you. I'm actually gonna try to help you in this situation. You're getting in trouble, this, that, and the third. Let me try to rehabilitate you. Let me try to give you a sentence or something that will help you, something maybe other than jail time. Sometimes jail time is not the answer. No. Stay trying to prosecute somebody. So just having these people that quote unquote look like us being in these so-called places of, you know, influence or what have you, that don't help us. Some of the worst ran cities is ran by Black people. We don't want to talk about that though. Gary, Indiana comes immediately to mind. Their whole administration is Black. For the vast majority of their administration is Black. They have ran that city into the ground. It is not worth being there at all. It looked crazy. It's so much undeveloped land. They can't get nobody to come develop no land, open no businesses or nothing, because they constantly steal the money out of the coffers. They overtax the people. The people that live there are overtaxed and overburdened, and to the point where the governor does not send the money to Gary for a budget that it sends everywhere else. White people moved out of Gary and they established Merrillville. Merrillville's booming, but Gary is not. And they're trying to say, this was years ago, they was trying to say, oh, the governor's being racist because he doesn't allot the same kind of budget. You don't prove where the money went. Yeah, the money's gone, but what you spend it on? Or you pocketed it? So that means you don't need it. So I'm not going to give it to you. It's in debt. And I'm sure there are other cities that are like that. Dalton is a suburb. Yeah, it falls in that category, but I was thinking more of a bigger city. Which brings me to another point. I don't want no female as no president. I don't want no woman. She already unorganized. Kamala is already unorganized. The turnover rate, the churn rate for her assistants and people that was working with her under her as she has been the vice president is like 80% or more, like 80 or 90% churn rate, because they just can't do it. They just can't do it. Like, I can't do it. Can't work under her. She's too unorganized, and she want to be bossy and controlling, and she don't really get no. She just wants to be in the position, but she don't want to be responsible for the position. I shudder to think what this country is going to do in 4 years under her so-called leadership. Because where has she been even a good leader? At least with Trump, you can say, well, he know how to run a corporation, which is what America is anyways. At least when he come to the table as a dude, other men will be like, okay, well, I'm talking to another man at least. Do you know how many other presidents and prime ministers across the world do not respect females like that, especially ones that think they in power? And you coming to sit at the table with other men and they looking at you like, who she thinks she is? It's so many world leaders that it just as a part of their culture, like women are not supposed to be in that position. So they don't take it serious. Oh, you're the POTUS? We almost are going to get invaded because of her, because it's a woman at the helm. It's going to be a female. Has she ever served in the military? What happened to that? Isn't that one of the requirements or something? Has she ever so much as been in boot camp? It used to be a requirement. Yeah. I thought you had to serve at some point in your life, but okay. Like, do you even understand the concept of what it means to go to war? If we had to go to war. Because we perpetually in a war. That's perpetual. I just don't. I'm not keen on a female being in that position. Women don't even do HR good. Women don't even run businesses very well. I don't like women in middle management. Like, I don't want no woman in no position where and that's not even to say all men are good leaders, but I don't want no woman in that kind of position. As a woman, as a female, no. We way too emotional. We don't like the accountability that come with the leadership position. We don't like the accountability that come with that. Cause when it go good, she gonna be somewhere cheesing. And when it go bad, she gonna be somewhere hiding. And now she don't want to talk to the media and all that kind of stuff. We don't like women in them positions. Why would I want a woman in that position? Women didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. When Hillary Clinton was running for president against Trump, the first time Trump ran, Hillary should have won that just off the basis of being in and around politics for as long as she was. At minimum, she had some history of politics. Trump at the time had no history of political leadership at all. He had no political history. So people really didn't know what he was going to do in terms of politics because he had never done that. And they didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't want Hillary either, because she Hillary. Now we got Kamala. All she do is faux pas and media gaffes. Anyway. Thank you, HVAC. Said if Kamala wins, it's open season on straight black men. Because we know what type of time she on with that. The rainbow agenda is going to go in a super drive. Thank you, Miss Francois and Miss K. Did you hear Steve Harvey's reply to Dr. Umar today? It's getting real ridiculous. I didn't hear his reply. And Umar was actually really respectful about it. He didn't roast them or nothing. He was just saying they was wrong. I would be interested in Steve and his veneers reply, because those are two separate individuals. Thank you. My name's. I don't understand why we care about this so much. Collectively, we lose either way. Thank you, HVAC. I wish I was still in West End, my home in Alabama, on occasions like Rickey Smiley. He need to get jumped for all that crying. Cat Williams, where you at? Not getting jumped. Thank you, Ms. Lucasa. Thank you for bringing up these issues that will impact us all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wicked to Wise at Illinois Mayor Tiffany Henry Dalton's. Good Lord. She on the FBI investigate. Anyway. Thank you again, HVAC at Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, Alabama. All Black people run these cities. Hoover, Alabama was created by white folks because BAM is just bad. Birmingham. Yeah. Thank you again, Bernard. Said Fed stats predict that by 2053, Black wealth in this country will be at zero collectively. We're talking 120 trillion for white families and zero for Black. We're on the brink of financial extinction. Exactly. Military service isn't a requirement because of checks and balances. A civilian must be in charge of the military to prevent military rulers coming into power. Thank you. Let's get reactive. Said West Indians, we don't play that. They really tried it with the She Jamaican thing. Jamaicans not checking for Kamala. The ones here or back on the island. Flop. Anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. I really wanted to talk about them crashing out and ultimately why they play identity politics with us as American Blacks, because we have an identity issue. We want to belong so bad, and we want what we think other communities have, but we don't know how they have it and why they have it. And I keep telling y'all, other communities align with their value system. That's what makes them strong. And because of their value system, they're able to distance themselves from other members of their community that don't uphold those values and don't represent them. Us, on the other hand, because we identify with the look, the race, and not the values, this is how we get representation of people that don't have good values, because they look at us. I'm gonna tell American Blacks something that you don't understand that go on with other people in the world. Everybody else in the world identifies with their nationality. That is not their race. Black people identify with race in America because in America, you have to identify by race and not nationality. We, as Black people who are the descendants of slaves, were not allowed to take on the identity of nationality of being an American. We were denied that for so long. So we had to identify by our look, the people that look like us. This is why sometimes American Blacks be butthurt that other melanated people from the continent, from South America, from the West Indies and stuff like that don't necessarily just blend in with us, because they are not identifying through race or skin. They're identifying through nationality and culture. Okay? Everybody else identifies through nationality. We identify through race because we were denied the ability to take on the nationality of being American. That being American has been being white for us. Okay? So when we see flags flying everywhere, we don't feel necessarily as patriotic we automatically feel like that's racist to a certain degree because who identifies as American and full of patriotism and full of white people. But you'll notice that other people that come from their country that live here will start identifying as American, as their nationality, especially if they're born here. So like you get second, third generation, you know what I'm saying? I'm an American. Because they're identifying through nationality. That's why when we hear somebody's Jamaican, we think they're Black without understanding that if a person is born and raised in Jamaica, even if they are not melanated, they're going to say they're Jamaican because that's their nationality. But if you ask them about their ethnicity and their race, they'll say whatever it is. There are East Indians that live in Trinidad and Tobago. But if you ask them their nationality, I'm Trini. But if you ask them their ethnicity, they'll say, I'm Indian. Black people, we have to understand that. Okay? There's a difference. We see race, other people see nationality. And nationality is not your race. That's the country that you were born and raised in. Okay? Thank you, Miss Mia, for your super sticker. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.